Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry.
Welcome to Rugby AM.
We're back in Leigh, stood in front of the statue of a real Leigh legend, John Woods.
There's only one legend in Leigh, mate.
What about me? Shandy Bass.
It's Shandy Bass!
Shandy Bass.
Shandy, it's been a while. How are you doing, mate? You got your Super League t-shirt on.
The season's doing alright. We're just up and down at the moment.
How's Elton Park getting on in your front garden? Because the last time Leigh beat Wigan was at Elton Park, obviously, I think it was 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, 8 years ago. That was at Hilton Park. I might not remember that match, but we might remember it at Sports Village tonight.
Are you confident tonight? Wigan coming broken. They've lost 5 on the spin. Are you confident?
Oh yeah, I'm confident tonight that we can do it. We just got to keep going.
Right now, we're going to go outside the stadium and catch up because it's the State of Mind round Jonesy. State of Mind is a really prominent charity within the game, obviously, that came about from Danny Sculthorpe after Terry Newton's tragic passing.
Yeah, we're going to have a chat with Dr. Phil Cooper about the State of Mind, what players are involved, what it means, and the fact that the whole of Rugby League have bought into what is a really fantastic charity.
Let's go over now, meet Phil and find out about State of Mind.
The State of Mind campaign, it's all about rugby players and their mental welfare, their mental well-being, and I'm here with Dr. Phil Cooper of State of Mind, one of the co-founders. Phil, just tell us a little bit about how you got into State of Mind.
Yeah, it was unfortunately the tragic death of Terry Newton. Just saw an article asking in the Rugby League Express and a letter in the same paper on a Monday morning reading about Rugby League, asking about the NHS should get together with Rugby League to try and prevent similar tragedies happening again in future. So invited a couple of people to a meeting. Brian Carney came. We asked the RFL if we could have a round of fixtures, if we gave everyone an education session, and here we are today.
I've got my badge on, and there's a lot of rugby league players who know full well what it's like to play in, week out, and play for decades in some cases. Just seen Danny Sculthorpe, we had a chat with him a few weeks ago. But what sort of players get involved and what's their role within State of Mind?
Well, I mean, currently we've got Corey Patterson's just joined us, who's obviously playing for Leigh tonight, talking about some of his experiences in Oz and also when he's come over here. Ian Smith talking about the pressures of being a Super League full-time referee and some of the anxiety and sort of low mood that can give to an official, and how we should look after him a little bit more. Phil Vivers on coaching and playing, and also looking at how you build the resilience of players coming into a club from a very young age to make sure they're mentally fit to perform at the highest level week in, week out.
What about things like the well-being of your weekly routine, such as sleeping, what you're eating, your diet? Is there a bit of a focus in what people do with their bodies during the week that might cause a biological stress, if that makes sense?
Yeah, very much so, because again, I think if you're going to maintain your mental fitness alongside your physical fitness, you have to have those good routines in place. So eating as well as you can, keeping active is pretty easy for rugby players, I reckon. But again, just thinking about the good things that you can do. If something's bothering you, talk about it and see how you're feeling about it.
Now, in life, we all go through little bits of adversity, and for me, growing up, losing was a big part of those little adversities, and I had to learn to use. Do you think sometimes we can go the other end and go overcompensate for some of life's adversities that are actually good for us? Because I've read a million times that stress is only bad for you when you believe it's bad for you.
Yeah, potentially. I think there's a lot of a big psychological element in any sort of stress. But I think when we're going into like academy squads and stuff in different clubs or into community clubs, we're looking at building that mental fitness from a young age, because rugby players have to deal with the ups and downs of winning and losing throughout a season. So you've got to build that resilience early doors so they can actually sort of deal with it later on in life.
And really quickly, without rubbing it in, you're a Warrington fan, so you're having to deal with a little bit yourself, not having the best of runs, but you're going to persevere with it, I guess.
Well, I've been watching Warrington for over 30 years, so I've seen a lot of bad times, so good times recently have been good, but feel back in my comfort zone right now, so no problem.
I was there this time last year, I know exactly how you feel, but listen, thank you very much, Phil, for not just for being a Rugby League supporter, but for doing something extraordinary special as well for Rugby League. Thank you.
Okay, cheers. Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Dad?
Let it out.
Outside Leigh Sports Village, the great John Wood statue behind us, kids playing with a state of mind activity going on, and I'm joined by a legend of this club, lifelong president Brian Beaumont. Brian, how many years have you been involved with Leigh?
Well, I watched him for 70 years.
70 years?
I went on board in 1973. And then we won the championship, 80-81.
Yep.
We won the Lancashire Cup and the championship in that one season. That was when I was chairman.
You've seen some great players down the year like this man behind you. Tell us about some of your favourite players for the club.
Well, John Woods is my favourite one. I signed John on, actually. I went after a board meeting one night. The board couldn't decide whether to sign him, so I went round myself and signed him.
You just took it upon yourself?
Yeah.
Did you just know that he was a special player and a special character?
I knew he was going to make it. Another player I signed, before we forget, was Des Drummond.
Des Drummond?
I signed Des. I signed him for £50.
50 quid for Des Drummond?
He played in the A-team up at Barrow once. We were short when we got up there. He come for a ride, so he finished up playing and he scored 3 tries. So I invited him down to the board meeting on Tuesday, and Mr. Arden, who was chairman, said, we're not signing another Drummond, we're crossing one off, because we were crossing his brother off that night, Alvin. So he said, would you sign for nothing, Des? So Des said, yeah, I'll sign for nothing. Well, there was 8 directors. I said, well, I'll give him 50 quid. I thought they'll all put their hand in their pocket. You get £400, but nobody else put their hand in the pocket.
It cost you 50 quid?
So, no, well, it's the best £50 I've ever spent, especially the John Woods one, both of them.
And it's been 34 years since this man won against Wigan.
Yeah.
And that's the last time you beat him in the league. Can you see something happening tonight? Can you see it changing tonight?
I think we've a chance because, to be honest, Wigan are a bit depleted, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's a lot of injuries at the moment, which is unfair to them when you beat them in that circumstances. But nevertheless, let's beat Wigan.
Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry. Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry.
Welcome back to part 2 here at UBM. Everyone's gearing up for this local derby. The refs are running around. Madness are on the pitch. A bit of Jam Town called Malice right now. We're loving the atmosphere. He's dancing around. Jonesy, earlier on went down to Alec Murphy's house, and our privilege to spend an hour and a half in his company. Unbelievable.
I'm devastated. I've been training so I couldn't go, but I love Alec Murphy. The stories that he's got are epic, and it's brilliant that Rugby AM can go catch him, but he's got a bit of madness as well in him when he gets angry, doesn't he?
He has.
It certainly is OBE, but we won't mention that today. You can catch up with it later. I'll catch up with it later.
Right now we're going to go down to Alec Murphy's house. Privilege, he's got a bar in his house as well. Absolutely unbelievable. He's going to tell us a little bit about what Lee means to him from his days coaching and playing. At 27 years old, he left Saints and became player coach here at Lee. Unbelievable story. And also, we're going to feature a very, very special 1 to 13 of the best players Alec Murphy ever played with. Check this out. Lee versus Wigan is a huge game for anyone who lives in the WM postcode. There's a real bitter rivalry. And this man, Alex Murphy, OBE, knows all about it. Alex, you've played many a time against Wigan. You've coached and played for Lee. You're a club legend. Tell us a little bit about this Lee-Wigan rivalry that we're going to experience this evening.
Well, let me put it this way. If you was a Lee supporter and you wanted to be one team and not win another game, that one team would be Wigan. There is a strong feeling of we don't like you, pie eaters. Wigan don't like them, lobby gobblers.
What is lobby gobbling?
It's something that's out between them. I go into Lee pretty regularly, I go into Wigan pretty regularly. I know what a pie eater is because every time I see him, they're eating pies. But I can't tell you what that means. At least, Porter, I'll find out and let you know. But it is something where it helps both sides to go onto the field and know that they don't like them and they don't like them.
Lee seems to have the number of Wigan in the pre-season friendly, and we've been there for the last 2 years, have won it, but they haven't beat him in the league for 34 years when the great John Woods was playing for Lee. Why is it? Is it just that Wigan have just got the number? And when can you see this Lee team actually doing a number on Wigan, who've been struggling recently?
Well, let me say this: if there's ever a time that Lee need to win a game, it's this one. Now they should not have to be motivated for this game. Neil Dukes knows, and the chairman, Derek, Derek Bowman, I think is a magnificent man. I think he's done a great man. I just feel sorry that at this moment in time, Lee are not quite doing, things are not coming off. They're making mistakes, simple mistakes. They've not got to make them mistakes tonight. They've got to play Wigan because they are capable of beating Wigan. Wigan, believe it or not, Sean Wayne's having nightmares. Sean Wayne is now getting up in the middle of the night and going for walks and thinking, I can't afford to lose 6 on the run.
Yeah.
It's never been happened.
Yeah.
But it can happen. And if, I'm not saying they've a lot of players missing and he keeps going back to that, they have got 15 world-class players on that field, Wigan, tonight. But Lee, this game, with the supporter behind them, is a must-win game. My name is Alec Murphy. I'm stood behind the back of the bar. I'm now going to pick my best team ever. Fullback immediately, which is very, very difficult indeed. I'm going to go for an Australian, a fella called Clive Churchill, the little master, great player, great goal kicker. I think I'd get lynched if I didn't do that with the Australians. The first wingman I would pick would be a fella from South Africa who played for St Helens called Tom van Vollenhoven. He was a magnificent player. He had pace, he had ability, he could score tries full length of the field, he had a good pair of hands, and he was a world-class player. I'm definitely going to have to put Billy Boston in my famous wingman. If anybody has been as good as Billy, with the ball in his hand, tackling, taking the ball full length of the field, you name it, he can do it. My centres, one is English, one is a lad called Eric Ashton, who was my tour captain, played for Wigan, captain of Wigan, been to Wembley, won the Ashes, magnificent player, great player. My second centre is a match-winning centre, probably had everything that's needed in rugby league. Great pair of hands, pace to burn, good defensive player, a lad called Reg Gasnier. I move out now to the halfbacks, and this is going to be a problem because I'm not being big-headed. I'm picking the scrum half first, and I think that I'd be the best scrum half that's ever played. I don't take that back. Some people will be sending me texts and saying your head's gone no bit smaller. I just had confidence. I did what I said with ability. I looked for a standoff then who I've got to say I want him to win me matches as well. But I would pick a lad called Bobby Fulton, who played standoff for Australia. Was a world-class, very, very no-nonsense standoff. Had everything what was required to be a world-class standoff. He was a great player. My best prop forward ever played all through a match with a broken collarbone in a test match against Australia, and with 8 men fit on the field, and he played all through the match. Alan Prescott would be my number 8. Hooking. I always like people who play in that position with pace. I know the game's changed now to where you don't strike for the ball, but in them days it was a skill, and we had people who could not only get you the ball, if you had a good hooker, you get 60-70% of the ball and guaranteed you to win most of the matches. This lad is from Hull, and he's a young fella called Tommy Harris. A very confident player, a very, very skillful player, and very, very quick. I think his job in life, I think he wanted to be a halfback really, but he wasn't quite fast enough and good enough to be one of them. But he was a great player. I am going to go for a lad from Wigan, and he urged me to say this, called Brian McTeague. He was second to none. If he walked in church, you'd think he was an altar boy. You put him on the pitch, he was very, very difficult man. He was a professional boxer. He could have made a living at boxing, and I wouldn't have liked to have stood. He hit a fella in Australia who'd kind of done something he shouldn't have done, and I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Brian McTeague, and we disappeared down the other end of the field, and I'm watching the Australian who Brian has actually come in contact with in the middle of the game, and he's kind of caught him with one. Brian's got back to the bottom, got ready for the scrum, and we're still watching this fella as though he was drunk coming down the field. He got 10 yards from the scrum and collapsed. And Brian turned to me and said, "Spud, I must be losing myself," he said. "They normally go down a lot quicker than that." The second row forwards, the class players, and this is going to be very, very difficult. I'm not going even to think about leaving him out, because I would never leave him out. A lad called from Whitehaven, who from Cumbria, played for a little team called Whitehaven. I went to his christening for his little lad, and it was one of them where he had very little control, and the baby was getting christened, and Dick had the biggest pair of hands you've ever seen in your life. He was the quickest second row forward that's ever played the game. And we're standing, the priest has just blessed the young boy, and Dick picks him up and throws him about 6 foot in the air and caught him in the church. And I thought, good God. So I knew for sure when he had the ball in his hand, A1 he'd never drop it, and nobody'd ever catch him. Great, great player. He's my number 11. My other second row, I've got another problem. But I am going to go from a lad from Workington, who was a second row forward called Brian Edgar. Great pair of hands, big man, 18.5 stone, great mover, great sidestep, tackle, no, plays the game how it should be played. Loose forward, there is only one. I'm afraid he's the king of them all. I love Derek Turner, I love Johnny Whiteley, but Vince Cornelius was the number one loose forward that he's ever played. Worked in a scrapyard and played in a scrapyard. Didn't check anybody, whoever in front of him, he could put him on the floor. World class player, that is my best 13.
Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry. Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry.
I'm with the Lancastrian protagonist or antagonist, depending on whether he eat pies or Yorkshire pudding, which side of the Pennines you live on. And I think we started the Arders-Bills feature with Ryan Bailey, and if there was an equal and opposite in Lancashire, it'd definitely be Gareth Hock. We could have even called it Rock Like Hock or something like that. It's great to be able to catch up with you, Gaz, again, and it's brilliant to get an insight into who your top 5 toughest players that you've ever played against are. So let's start with number 5. Who's your number 5?
I've got to go with Adrian Morley, first one.
Moz.
Yeah.
And why Moz? What was it about Moz?
Just one of the freakiest forwards I've ever seen. Fit, strong,
Yeah.
really powerful, muscly physique, but never took a backward step.
Now the guy that edits our show, Jimmy Bray, he was furious at the fact that Brian Noble, great honour as well, Brian Noble picked you in front of Moz for his best ever team, his top 13. How does that feel to sort of get in front of somebody like Moz, particularly regarding the fact that you rate him so much yourself?
Yeah, it's amazing, but like I said to you before, he's got a bit of a soft spot for me, but not me. The lads showed me the video, and but it's a good thing for nobody to say about me. Like.
Number 4, mate. Who's at number 4?
Number 4, Jamie Peacock.
All right.
Just played with him. Good captain. Looked up to him a bit, and for a Yorkshire bloke, he was. He always had time to like talk to me.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He's
I've always talked to you.
I know, but he was like a bit older, and looked up to him. He was a tough bloke. Always been a warrior.
So when you went on tours, international tours, Great Britain or England, was he somebody that you sort of got behind and encouraged you to go into them big games against likes of Aussies or the Kiwis?
Yeah, and like I said, like when I was a kid,
Yeah.
he had time to like talk to me, and he pumped me up a bit. You're all right. So I always like have a spot for Jamie Peacock though.
Brilliant. I'm fortunate not to have played against him too many times, but certainly stalwart, legend. I've always said the Alexander the Great Rugby League, Jamie Peacock, in terms of toughness. Who's at number 3 in your mind's eye?
Number 3, Mickey McLaurin.
Yes, tough guy.
Yorkshire lad, yeah.
Stanley boy. You've got 2 Yorkshire guys in there in first 3.
Yeah, I can't not pick Mickey, my mate. He's a good mate, but tough as they come. For a small bloke, solid bloke.
He's a Stanley guy as well. Started off in Leeds, I don't mind saying, down our end. Grieved that he ended up at Wigan. I've no idea how he ended up, but what is it about Mickey behind the scenes? Because he's a tough guy on it, but what is it off the pitch as well that you think makes him into such a tough character?
He's got a dry sense of humour. He's like, you don't know how to take him, and when lads run at him, he just chucks everything he's got. He don't care about his body. He's just crazy, but. Yeah, he's one of the toughest. He's a good lad as well.
I remember playing at the DW once. I ran at him. He was a small guy. I didn't know much about him.
You can feel it, can't you?
Mate, I could feel it. I got whacked. I thought I'll run somewhere else next time. I think I ran into him and got whacked again. Who was number 2 in your list?
Number 2 was Andy Farrell.
Yes, yeah. Who are we gonna?
Just another good leader. Someone I looked up to. One of my best players.
Right.
So, yeah, he showed me the ropes as well when I was young, and. He was a very tough forward. He went to the proper end of his career and still had time to come and talk to me, and when I was in my troubled days and stuff like that. So
yeah,
Andy Farrell.
So being a tough guy as well, some of these are tough guys. What sort of skills? I mean, you've mentioned Adrian Morley, Jamie Peacock, who started off as a back row, a bit like yourself. Andy Farrell's probably one of the most skillful back rows ever to play the game of rugby league. So did you take any sort of playing skills as well as that mental toughness from those guys as well?
Yeah, like Andy Farrell, like he was my hero, but he could play a bit as a second row and a forward, and
Could he?
tried to play my game a bit like him. So that's why he's like one of my favourite players.
Good on you. Big drum roll for Gareth Fox, number one toughest player. Who is it, Gaz?
Number one is Harrison Hansen.
Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
That's great. Go on, tell us why.
not for his fighting side or anything like that, but he's like a bit like Mickey Mack with his tackling body. The lad can hardly move his body. His fingers, his wrists are broke. He can hardly do bench, can't do any weights. He just gets on, never complains, never misses a training session. Full on.
That's massive, that, and that's a big attribute and a virtue to have as well, because as a forward in rugby league, you obviously get a lot of bangs, a lot of bruises, a lot of cuts, and the ability to go out the next week and play again and do it again is something that is impressed upon the other players as well, and it does show a different type of toughness.
Yeah, he's it's his 350th game today, and I don't think he's missed a session this year training.
Right.
He's 31 but he's still going solid, and he's split every week. He can't train much, but he's a tough lad.
Cool. There you have it, Gareth Fox, top 5 toughest players ever, hard as Bales.
Look at the score behind us. 50 points to 34, 84 points in a game, joined by the owner, Derek Beaumont. I think probably the happiest man in Leeds tonight.
I don't know about that. Can you see that far? I'm impressed with you, Alex. Keeping up with me. No, mate, I'm buzzing, but it's not about me as much as people make it that way. It's about that army of fans in the North Stand and the West Stand that, it's brilliant for them. I can't remember in fact, I think it was probably like 10-year-old the last time Lee beat Wigan in a competitive game, and we're not getting carried away, mind. We know that they were short of numbers, but so were we. And George Williams, he's a class player, and without being disrespectful to the guys from Wigan, if he has his quality either side of him there normally, then it's a different scenario, and I'm sure Wayne will pick them up. And I heard people when they was losing heavily to Hull calling for Wayne's head, and I was like, man, he's a coach, not a surgeon. What are you talking about? And when he gets his bodies back, they'll be thereabouts. And likewise, when we get ours back, we'll be okay. But we know which comp we're in, and we're not getting carried away. But I'm going to enjoy that for the next 13 days, I promise you.
Let's go to work. Let's go to work.
Welcome to UK Red Fire and Security Fan Cam. I got an alarm fitted at my house this week. I'm safest man in Bramley, but the alarm bells are going off right here at the Leeds Sports Village. I've got 3 Lee fans here. Boys, what do you reckon to that?
I'm a Wigan fan.
You're a Wigan fan? Yeah, of course. That's what happens when Jimmy Jones gets a mic. Are you really? Mate, just talking through it then, as a Wigan fan. How disappointed are you?
Weren't best, weren't it?
And are you 2 Lee fans then? Right, so have they been ribbing you, giving you some stick?
No, scared of me.
What do you reckon of that, Sandy lad?
What a win, Super League, Leafers. Super League, Super League.
You believe though, didn't you, mate? You've got to believe here, believe in Lee. You've always believed in Lee since they're right back at Hilton Park, and you've got it in your garden. But this is the first time they've beaten Wigan at this new stadium.
That's a 58 year. Last time we beat them at Hilton Park. And we beat them here, and we'll carry on beating them. Oh yeah.
I've sort of seen you on Simpsons before.
Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah, Cletus. What about tonight? How good is tonight?
Not very good.
Oh, mate, bit of a shocker. But are you going to persevere with the performances obviously not being the best? But are you going to stick behind Wigan and?
Yeah, I'll stick behind Wigan all the way. All the way.
Here we go! Great district though, aren't they, today here at the Sports Village?
They played well tonight, Wigan. Lee have it tonight, but Wigan, sorry.
No worries, pal, no worries. Special brew in there. Who's signed your top?
Dukesy and Weston, and all I've got to say is, bingo salt for the end of the league. Come on, Leaford!
Oh, what's that? Can you remember what? Do you know? Well, play cricket.
Leeds. John Jones Bishop.
John Jones Bishop, mate, you've nailed it. Nailed it. Ben Jones Bishop.
Ole! Wigan for the first time in 30 years.
Go on, Paul.
Right?
Are you coming to Leigh?
Did you enjoy playing Leigh last week?
The last 30 minutes were hard work.
Yeah. And are we good enough?
Yeah, good
Right,
enough,
there
yeah.
you go. You've just heard it from a Leeds player that Leigh are good enough.
How long's your weekend going to be now in terms of being able to go around, have the bragging rights, get to work, all that kind of
Well, to be honest with you, I should be on nights this week.
Right.
I've booked an out off for come to the game.
Have you knocked it?
I have, yeah.
Did you do it properly? Like, did you tell your boss?
Yes. I told my boss.
Right.
He's a Warrington fan, so yes, tough man.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. We've got some bleepers in there, haven't we?
If Sean Wayne turned around and said that he puts all the kids out tonight, right, well, I'm sorry, but we've got 7 players who are injured, right, and we've just turned them over at LSV. So bring it on again. Who's next? Yeah, Salford. We'll have anybody.
Wow. I haven't seen him that happy since you were running around Crystal Maze. Which hands on.
We hate Wigan! We hate Wigan!
It's all going
We
on.
hate Wigan!
We don't like
We
Wigan.
hate Wigan! We 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 hate Wigan!
Let's go to work.
Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry. Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, Spec, the specialist power contractor to industry.
James Clare, 28, Sticks, or the Viking.
Ben Crooks, 3, Legends lad.
Lee Crooks' lad. We ain't got none of them, have we? We've got
Greg McNally, surely.
Greg McNally, the cat.
They can shift some iron, that boy, can't he?
Yeah, he can. Greg McNally again.
He's up there with a few of these, isn't he?
The worst trainer I've ever seen. Oh, in fact, Curtis Norton.
Yeah, he
Curtis
hates
Norton.
a training session, that boy.
We call him the Dementor, just because he
That's
sucks
just
your life and
life
soul
out, yeah.
every single day. He drains me. I get in
Drains
Cardiff every
everyone.
day and I feel like today's going to be a great
We've
day.
actually
and then
managed to get the physio staff calling him Dementor now as well.
He is. He just takes everything
Zapping.
away from me. I've got
Zapping.
nothing to give anymore. Sam Hopkins.
Awful body.
Body like a melted wheelie bin.
Yeah.
The only person I've seen with a worse body than Sam Hopkins is Craig Huber.
Never seen Chubbs' rig, so I can't really comment.
Nah, Chubbs is slimmed down a bit now, hasn't he?
Coward.
Back in cast
Get that
days,
handbrake
though.
up, lad.
Nah, he got left from cast, didn't he? He had to start playing well, getting a new job. But Sam Hopkins, without a doubt, the worst player. With the worst rig, sorry, I've ever seen.
I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that.
Wow. This guy definitely. We made a truce not to go at each other, but
Yeah, I'll cop that.
Yeah.
I'll cop that. I'm on it fun. Do as I'm told. Good lad.
good looking misses though. So if you're
Yeah,
going to be
I've
under thumb,
got-
at
yeah.
least it'd be a sort.
Yeah.
We've got a few of them.
Yeah.
They're every week,
There's a
making
lot of
coffees and giving it to them. Probably Ryan Hampshire, it's got to
Yeah,
be.
he's right up there, isn't he, Rocky?
He's only player that he don't get picked, but he just says, please put me out wing, I want to play, mate. That's what he says every week.
Send him texts in and
I will play absolutely anyway. Just put selfies in of him and his mate Dukes here. Just gone for a coffee. Just at Costa again with Dukes here. So every week. He goes in for a coffee and he comes out and he's like wiping his face and stuff like that. I'm like, what's up? I just spilled my coffee down my chin, mate. Not fair play if it gets you in team. Can we change question to who's most likely to leave for a guy? Jamie Acton,
Jamie
definitely. If anybody's going to go on with a bloke, it's him.
Jamie Acton, yeah.
I question him, you know. Something about him. I just don't like it. I feel uncomfortable. I wait for him to finish his shower before I go in for one. Ryan Hampshire, it's got a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
He's just swiping left for days.
Actually can't get a word out of him, and Kark is just glued like that. What are you doing, Rocky? Nothing. What his arms just doing this all the time? What you want?
He's always on this thing called
Facebook.
Grindr as well. I don't know what that's about, but he just said it's a new app, girls only Tinder or something.
I've never done. He has mentioned it to me, Grindr, but I still don't know what it is.
He likes it, whatever it is. Curtis Norton.
No, not good.
Not good. Wowzers.
I do it on FaceTime and everything, anti-football isn't car.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
She just comes on bra and underwear all the time, doesn't she?
Class, isn't it?
Just let me have a moment. I'll just shut my eyes and think about it. Wow. Beautiful.
Riddy. He's
Yeah,
on a bloke
Riddy.
in Lee with a picture of his face on the side of a pub.
Do you know, he's got shirts up in every single amateur club round here as well. He's never even played for him. He just takes his shirt and says, "Put that up on your wall, please." I can pretend. I love it.
Centurion, isn't he?
Mr. Lee. But then Mickey Iron, one of our own, isn't there?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Mickey. But
So
then
mu-
again,
so much that we brush Riddy off to Huddersfield.
yeah. They just get Mickey confused because we've got about 15 bald people in our team. You can never remember which one's which.
Elwax, he goes in, goes for it. Have you ever seen a French person have a we're up at door on him. He stood on the rim of the toilet, squatting over it because he don't have a toilet seat at home. He's got one of them holes in the floor at home. So he says he can't sit down. He likes to stand on the toilet. So he squats over the toilet, talks to everyone while we're trying to get a shower. So we jump out. Then he jumps in, has a quick wash, goes to sinks, shaves all his pubes, and then jumps back in.
His pubes, get me. He
Must
must
all
not.
the time. They go, "Oh, do you want to borrow? You want to borrow?
No respect.
No respect. You open door, no respect."
It's the morning after the night before, and I woke up this morning, and it felt like Brexit. What's going on? The world's gone mad. Trump, Brexit, and now we've got another hung parliament, and I'm here with Mickey McLaurin. And how do you feel, mate, after last night? Obviously, the league game, bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, very disappointed, Simo. We're in a bit of a rut at the minute, and we all need to have a look at ourselves and sort it out. It's all individual stuff. We've had a chat last night with Wayne, and it's backs against the wall mentality, and it's only us that can fix it.
Mate, well, what's always nice in rugby is the fact that after the 80 minutes, it's done and dusted. You can move on to next week. And today we're out at the beautiful Huffwood Golf Club to celebrate your testimonial. You've got a room full of guests in there, all excited to play. It's a packed card. How's your testimonial been so far?
Yeah, it's been all right, mate. I've not had anything on for the last few months. We're getting back playing. I sort of wanted to concentrate on that, really. It's not been going so well, so the result last night puts a bit of a down on events like this today. So it's always better to win. Makes these events a little bit better.
Well, it's a great course. Is this your local course? Is this a course you play at regularly?
Yeah, Pete, who owns it and runs it, lets a few boys come up and play. I used to play with Matty Smith, but he's sold me out for St Helens now, so he don't speak to me.
Smeeks. What other players play golfers? Any sharks we should be looking out for today?
No, not really. We're all pretty rubbish. Matty Smith's pretty good. Benny Flower thinks he's good, but he's no good. Obviously, he's injured at minutes, so he can't be here today. But Budgie's mum's here, actually.
Yeah.
So you need to get a few shots of her. She's pretty good.
Is she?
She's all right at golf as well.
Hey! Is there some good players here today?
Well, you've just told me your secret about winning last week. He puts his handicap to 8, but really he plays off scratch.
No, not me. No, Adam Chester.
Yeah, not you, but your team.
I have a 24 handicap, mate. I'm poor.
But I think there's a couple of teams from Leeds actually.
Outstanding.
3 teams from Leeds.
You still get some Leeds love out there because you're a Leeds lad.
Flying the Yorkshire flag.
Good
for
lad.
Me.
Good lad.
Not pints since 7:30.
Speaking to Mickey McLaurin about his golf day, it's great that the club's come out in support of a player that's given so much. And it's Jonesy always goes on about how our Leeds lads ended up at Wigan for 10 years. And I think it breaks his heart a little bit, but you're definitely not complaining because what kind of a man is he and what's he brought to your team, Sean?
Simo, I've known him since he was a kid. I've had him for a long, long time. He brings everything to our club. He typifies our culture, what we're about. You know, we play tough, and I hope that my players are nice people off the field, and Mickey is. He's a great guy, as you know. But on the field, he's the toughest competitor. He'll do anything to win, and he just fits in so well with our club. So, me and him are good friends. We've had our tough days. Yeah. You know, we've had our real tough days. But overall, I class him as a real mate. For Mickey, you know, at a club like this, you know, we don't keep all the players for that long. You need to bring something. And for 10 years, he's brought something to training. Every video meeting we've had, he's just a real good character to have around. His standards are very, very high. I think what you said before about his art, he's a real kind-hearted bloke. When you do need to crack him. We don't have many friends, but when you get in that inner circle with Mickey, he can be the most loyalist friend you could ever wish for. So, I think we're lucky as a club to keep hold of somebody like him. I know we've had lots and lots of clubs approach us from Mickey over the years, NRL clubs, and he's always stayed loyal to me and Wigan Warriors, and that's something I'll always admire in him.
Mickey McLaurin, because he's celebrating his golf day today. He's certainly a strange individual when you get to know him.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
He's pretty deep. He loves horses, he loves dogs,
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
But he's a character who is loved by the Wigan community, by the club, and by the lads.
Yeah, no, he's a great bloke, and you know what you see on the field is totally different person to what you see get off the pitch. Like, so, very quiet, reserved person. Like, but then he's got this, you know, wickedness in him, which is great as well. So. If you ever go out for a beer with him, you'd always find out that. Like, but no, great bloke, hard as nails. Plays whatever game he's playing in, he'll give you 100%, and you can't ask for anything more than that really with him, can you? And then off the field, he'll do anything for you as well, which is special in itself. Like, so you always know you can guarantee a friend for life with him. Like.
Whether it's power station, factory or stadium, covering installation or maintenance, SPEC, the specialist power contractor to industry.